All right. So once again, it's now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 207. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? Today we'll just continue with the indoor stream. Today I mainly worked on scripting for one of the next videos. This just a whole bunch of details that I have to put together for the next couple of videos. So I'm going to try and hopefully get one out for the Christmas holidays. There's a couple scenes I'm kind of pushing now. There's a couple scenes I'd like to film outdoors at this time of year, so I gotta do that before the seasons change too much. So on the renovation situation, so on October 14th, we officially won the hearing. They've stated they're going to try and appeal the ruling. And I still have not been officially served with a case number or anything. But we'll see if there's any more details about specifically what they want to try and appeal. And it's possible that that appeal could just get dismissed. And the next front is the Shopify Store. So there's been no sales at all in the Shopify Store in at least a couple of weeks now. The Merchant Center products are still disabled. I had spent another day to improve that. I'll probably return to this shortly on the marketing video. There's a couple still in the queue. I'll probably schedule the next one for release within the next couple days. And other than that, the list objective with the terminal block mining game that was accomplished on November 9. Actually, I think it was November 10th actually that I released that. And for the stream tonight, we're just going to relax and do some simple refactoring to the block mining simulation game. So I think one of the next really interesting, not necessarily features, but capabilities that this terminal game engine could support is multiplayer. Actually getting multiplayer working is going to be a lot of work. But I'll probably just I'll do some work on it step by step. So last night I did a bit of changes to the event propagation. So the way that events are propagated, for example, when I move the player, that is a whole rat's nest of random custom events and stuff that move around. And I need to kind of take that existing model and simplify it a bit and make it kind of standardized how the different threads are launched in different frames. So that way that'll put me in a capability, in a position to actually add new frame types and stuff, like equipment frames. And let's check that it actually works. Seems to. So if we close frame, open frame, still works. Excellent. So the next thing, so basically this variable should not need to be in here. Alex Dorzahu says some things in Russian. Anybody want to translate that? Yeah, this is an English only live stream. You're gonna have to speak English, or I'll have to time you out or ban you. Otherwise, I can't moderate it if it's not in English. Yeah, so this variable ideally shouldn't need to be here. Oops. Did you eat chocolate candy and buttered chicken again today? That's a good question. Let's see. I had one of those frozen pizzas, half of a frozen pizza for lunch, and then I had I got some groceries tonight. I did pick up more candy, but I didn't eat much of it. I had there was some 50% off California rolls at the store, so I got those. It was only like a handful of them. And I had that and a piece of pumpkin pie, and also an apple. And then I had a couple of pieces of candy. Frozen pizza, discount sushi, pumpkin pie. What kind of candy? I think it was some kind of like a flavored, like a fruit flavored. What do you call it? Fruit flavored gummy candy. Bro, what are you making? I am currently making a terminal-based video game where you can simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore in an infinite, procedurally generated universe. I think that's most of what I need. Like Minecraft, but it's inside terminal. Yes, it is similar in that vein. Although initially, at least, I'm going to focus it way more around like actual realistic mining, because for how much how significant the word mine is in Minecraft, honestly, it's not very realistic in terms of mining. Like they don't even have some basic ores and stuff that are like you can't mine nickel in Minecraft. That's a huge part of the economy. I plan to also make it a bit more like abstract. I don't know, I have lots of grandiose ideas for it, but we'll see if I can foster enough interest in it. And then, oh wow, we got a super chat. This is my favorite YouTube stream. Thank you very much. And you're now rightfully crowned as number one. Thank you to Y. I guess just number Y. And that equates to 520 US. Thank you very much. I'm debating choosing a path between data engineer, infrastructure engineer, DevOps, and systems programming, OS, networking, distributed systems. I decay which to choose. I guess there's different ways to think about that. One is, so have you graduated yet? Or I guess you're probably thinking about starting your educational career. Yeah, so one significant thing to think of is the first few jobs you get often will kind of like box you into a certain career path. So like if you want to do one of those things and you apply to everything and you get like, you know, DevOps or networking or systems, whatever, if that's the job you get, the next jobs you get are going to compound on that. So that's one thing to think about, where you could look at like what are the most in-demand things today, and that'll require. I'm not necessarily super up to date on that about what are people hiring for today. I would suspect. I don't know. DevOps is probably always going to be in demand. Like no matter how scalable your software is, there's always going to be stupid bugs and stuff. Distributed systems, I could actually see that getting to be a big deal. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like there could be. I think there could be significant productivity gains in optimizing like AI models, because the AI models are so big now. They would work as distributed systems. So there's going to be a ton of work to do to like make, you know, ChatGPT 2% more efficient by distributing the workload intelligently, and it's going to require a lot of work. And some of that, especially like networking stuff, is probably, some of that is like the stuff that's going to be more difficult to automate with AI, because like networking code specifically, it relies on like arbitrary constants and stuff, and if you don't get them right, then that'll mess with a bunch of stuff. Intern experience is all over the place. Full stack, DevOps, embedded. You know, so that's why I'm confused. Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the way companies see employees, where it's I don't know if you've ever played like Age of Empires or any one of those real-time strategy games where you've got like villagers, and then you put all your villagers like to cut down wood, and then you look at your inventory and you're like, oh wait, I got way too much wood. I gotta put them all on gold, and you just like take all these villagers, get them to drop their wood, put them on gold, and then you might get too much gold, and then you're gotta get some stone. So companies will kind of, you know, if you're available, they'll just stick you on whatever. You know, to be honest, that might even be a blessing, the fact that you have a bit of experience in all those things, so you can like, you might be able to leapfrog into, you know, any one of those paths. Full stack. Well, I would say like which are the most rare and least likely to be automated away. Embedded is probably not likely to be full stack software development, I think will be automated by AI before embedded will be automated by AI, because a lot of the embedded stuff is it requires you have to physically press buttons and stuff, and the AI can't really automate it. DevOps. Yeah, I don't know. Either of those, I think, is probably relatively future-proof. But you can probably just go with whatever you see yourself most likely to get the jobs for. Because I think the real tragic cases are where someone gets 10 PhDs in one thing. Like if you get 10 PhDs in distributed systems, and then you're way overqualified, and you spend 2 years trying to get a job in distributed systems, and then you run out of money and apply for a junior CSS developer, WordPress plugin developer position or something like that. And I think the way the economy's going is just you're a cog in a machine, and wherever you can find a place to fit and be getting the experience. Because if you have those gaps, then they'll look at that and be like, hey, why is this gap here? What's wrong with you? Okay, I think this should send the event. The next thing is to actually handle it. Nice, that might actually just perfectly work. Yeah, that looks like it's doing exactly what I wanted it to. And it's propagating the events. can delete that. Just clicked into this. What's going on? This is development of a terminal-based video game that I'll illustrate momentarily once I compile it here. It's a video game where you wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks. And then the blocks show up here in your inventory. And then over here, you got a crafting menu. So you can craft with this by pressing the C key. You're going to go down to multiple layers. And then you can find ore veins, like that one over there. Now you can mine these blocks. Giving me Temple OS vibes. This will never be as good as Temple OS. Don't know anything about development? Well, now you do, because you're here. The algorithm has chosen you. So tonight I'm just doing some development to refactor the user interface a bit. Each of these frames runs in a separate thread, and the next step is I want to make it possible to play with multiple, just like local multiplayer, which will be steps toward like a long-term networked multiplayer. How hard is it to learn this, honestly? I'm about to go to college. Do you major in anything specific? I got a degree in software engineering at the University of Waterloo. I don't know, I guess you say, how hard is this to learn? I've spent the majority of my life learning about software development. So I have written operating system microkernels and some compilers and stuff, and I'd say hard is not necessarily the right word. The more accurate word is like time consuming. You just have to spend thousands and thousands of hours learning and grinding and learning all the details and stuff. One could argue that I'm kind of overcomplicating the design of this, but I have some longer term visions for it. So you can always get if you go with a kind of haphazard design, you can produce more results quickly. But then when you start to, if you want to generalize stuff or make it fast, or it's very common for people to start small projects like this, and then the technical debt gets overwhelming, and people get to a point where they don't know how to refactor it, and they just say, okay, we're going to do a total rewrite, and then they don't ever finish it. All right, so that change resolved one of the annoyances here, where this console writer thread had knowledge of some of the frames. It's pretty cool to watch, but I do have to go back. Drop you a sub. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Let me think. Oh, I should probably change the exposure on the camera. I think I think it was I did some daytime stuff, so I changed the exposure to be darker. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, that simplifies the event passing for screen area updates. I guess the next one these streams have been popping up on my feed for months. What would you do on them? On most of these streams, I work on this terminal-based video game, which I guess I might as well. It's compiling, so I'll illustrate it right now. I do development on my terminal-based video game, where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore in an infinite procedurally generated universe. So you can wander around, you spam the M key, mine the blocks. Here's an ore vein, and then down here you can select items in your inventory. And then over here you can craft things by selecting the crafting recipe. Which actually reminds me, I should when a new item is produced, I should change the selection. Yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing. I actually took a break the past few days. I went for a walk and tried out my live streaming on my phone. Just went for a walk for a few days. And then I guess I did a couple other streams. I reviewed some of my semiconductors, some of the chips and stuff that I have. Okay, I think the next thing I'll probably do is generalized how the events pass from frames back to the client model. Yeah, this is really a rat's nest of crazy code. I think I have like some circular stuff going on here. Just see a guy writing Java in vanilla Vim. Yep, that's how you do it. Don't want to let the plugins get in the way. What's that complaining about? Can I find symbol? Oh, is it the right class? Oh, yeah. If I know VI really well, how hard will it be to learn NeoVim? I actually don't know. I don't know NeoVim. I've only used it for like 5 minutes, enough to understand that it's compatible. I think it's if it's everything it's cracked up to be, then I think it's basically just like using Vim. But from my understanding, the plugin system is in Lua, which is, I guess, better than, I don't even know what Vim's plugin system is, and it has better support for like language servers and stuff. It's just me and my other 70 plugins, 10 interchangeable color schemes. That's so much work. My progression of using those plugins and stuff was, I tried it out when I first started. I think there was a plugin called I think it was called Nerd Tree or something. That was one that I used for a while. I tried a bunch of other ones, and it was just, I started trying to like learn how to use the plugins, and it was there's a lot of extra information, and I eventually kind of it's always you can get way more out of learning like the lowest common denominator of everything. I guess if you have if there's one task you do a lot, then maybe a specialized plugin. I guess maybe because a lot of the work I do is so varied, like I don't actually work as like a normal programmer. I haven't in years. But if I actually just sat in front of a computer and coded 10 hours a day, then I guess I might get more out of them. this will allow me to get rid of another superfluous class. Each day learning more JavaScript. Getting more silly on the process. In the process. might satisfy the first notification type for sending notifications from frames back to the client model. So will this produce a stone pickaxe? All right, looks like that works. Nan equals nan returns false. Yeah, there was a famous, I guess if you're going down that rabbit hole, there was a famous talk that made the rounds it was quite a while ago now. Wow, it was probably like more than 10 years ago now. Where someone made a bunch of jokes. What would you even search for? It was something like they were doing it in front of like a live audience, and it was like basically like a comedy skit where they went through and they're like, nan equals returns this. What does this return? Then I think at one point the hint was like Batman, and so it would return a string that was just like nan over and over again. If I think it might have been titled like WAT. If you search for like famous JavaScript WAT talk, and then type in like nan. That was one of the things I remember from it. He went over like tons and tons of the details. Actually, maybe we can even find that. Oh yeah. WAT, a lightning talk. Code Mash. I think that might have been it. Yeah, I won't watch that in the stream, but I think that was it. My favorite is type of nan being number. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, and I think there's even some browser inconsistencies there too, where like I remember seeing like maps of like all these like equality expressions and stuff on all the different languages, and they there's a ton of different browsers where they've all been different. But I guess we don't really have as many browsers now. It's kind of all the same small number of browser engines. How quick do you think it'll take to make 100K? you mean for me to make 100K or for you to make 100K? For me, that's a good question, because there's many ways to answer it. It could be like 100K in equity versus like cash and stuff. I don't know. I'm really questioning like the YouTube so far has been the thing that has shown the most promise and growth, but the question is, the revenue is so like strange and unstable. Net worth, I don't know. Maybe I'll never have 100,000. I used Opera for more than a decade. Now everything is Chromium based, for better or for worse. 100K growth in net worth. I don't know. It really depends on finding. It's like this like if I had to do it as fast as possible as a challenge, and then I just like quit doing what I'm doing and went back to working a 9 to 5 or something. That would be like, if my life depended on making that much money as fast as possible, that would be like the highest probability of getting there. But then again, I've been working and growing at what I'm doing for, over a decade now. And it keeps seeming like it's going to pick up, but then, like for no reason, the revenue will just go down, and the views on videos, like certain videos, just don't get recommended sometimes until like a ton of time later. It's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, I guess if all my videos went viral yet tomorrow, then it would take one day or take like a month. Bro, just stop by to say what's up. Give you that like, brother. Thank you. Have a pleasant stream. Thank you very much. Now we got 10 likes. It's a pretty good stream. We got a super chat. We got 10 likes. We got 14 concurrent viewers. Made some progress on our block mining game. Let's see. Average time of probability space to 100K. I don't know. It depends. It depends on so many factors. There's no way to answer. For revenue, do you make from memberships, Shopify, and Patreon? So memberships. For memberships, my memberships went up. So I was doing a series live streaming until I get X dollars in super chats, and I did live streaming until I get X number of channel members. And when I did after that, I think I ended it. I did like a 14-hour stream. I think I got like 50 channel members from that. A lot of them were gifted, so they after 1 month they just evaporate and don't renew. I think after that, I ended up with around 200 channel members. And I think channel members, that brings in, I think, between like $300 and $400. So most of my channel members are like $1 channel members. Shopify, when I first set it up, so the reason I set Shopify up was because theoretically, if I don't get banned in Google Merchant Center, which currently my products are all disabled because of misrepresentation. The reason I went with that is because then I can get the products from Shopify to appear under my videos. And if that happens successfully, then I'll make a lot more sales because people actually know I have products. Currently, all the work I've put into Shopify is basically a waste of time. I haven't made any sales at all in the last couple weeks. When I first announced it, I did make like a couple sales, but I don't know. That's why I say everything's so strange and unpredictable. Like I'll get a whole bunch of sales and traffic for a bit, and I don't know. In some ways, it almost seems like the revenue or like the viewer quality is like capped. So I've noticed, especially too, if someone super chats a lot of money, then it actually seems to make like the overall like the number of views will go down. It actually seems like the monetization is very much binned into like months. Because I've noticed on the first of the month, the revenue will often like go way up or way down. But yeah, so last month was the lowest channel revenue I've had on YouTube in like the last year. I think it was like $890 in YouTube revenue. And then immediately on the first of the month, it trended up quite a bit. So now for this month, we're only on the 17th. YouTube revenue is just barely over $2,000 so far for this month. So it'll probably be at least $2,400 or something this month. Patreon is I think $200. That's the revenue from Patreon at the moment. So yeah, memberships about $200. Shopify is basically zero. I'm on the trial version of Shopify now. I'm actually going to be losing money on Shopify because they charge you $40 a month. And that's going to run out. And my trial version will run out soon. Patreon, $200. And ad revenue, it's been usually a baseline about 1,000, but dipped low last month and it's trending up this month. You can think of like 10 hypotheticals, their timeline, and their likelihood happening in your life, and then multiply the timeline by the likelihood of the hypothetical. I could do all that analysis, but it's a lot of work. Sounds like a good base to start from. Yeah, it I don't know. I mean, it's strange. Like reflecting on like last year around this time, I had like 66,000 subscribers, I think. And I think in the month of November, I actually made more money last year with less subscribers. So subscribers doesn't really mean anything. But it's it's kind of I've done it's. I mean that makes sense because it's a media thing. Like the reason you pursue a business is because of the opportunity for like great success. So if I make one video that's really amazing and goes super viral, then I get to make a lot of money. If my videos suck, then I don't make any money and I go to business. And if my videos are really good, then I make $1 million. Hope we get to $1 million soon. Yeah, me too. I've been doing a lot of work, making a lot of block mining games. I'd like to make more of the shorts series, but the revenue from them is just like, it's not economically feasible. It's not good. That's why. What are you aiming for revenue-wise? I'm aiming for as much revenue as I can produce. The precursor to like really making lots of revenue is having like, there's pretty consistent revenue from the channel overall, but a lot of things I do are experiments to try and see, like, if I do this or that, does this make revenue? Does it get views? Like the whole short series, I did that as an experiment to see if it would, like when shorts first started, the monetization was terrible, and I had a hunch that they might improve it over time, and it might be a thing where, like, if you're an early adopter of shorts, then you might just like really win in a huge way and rake in lots of money. That did not happen. But yeah, it helped the channel, but it helped achieve growth. But some YouTubers really push to sell something in every video they make. There's always 15-second buy this from my store. Guess you try to avoid that. Yeah, I haven't bothered. I've just tried to focus on make stuff that's going to maximize the just be as satisfying as possible to the user. I find if like the people who actually buy stuff are the people who are like the most, like the biggest fans, and the biggest fans will just buy anyway. So unless you're solving like a really specific problem, like if your channel is about if it's about like how to get your carpentry license or something, or like how to get your electrician license, and you have a book specifically on that thing, and that's the only thing your channel is about, then you can like really push that, and people who like don't care about the channel at all would still buy it with a probably high conversion rate. But any kind of like merch, like t-shirts, or I don't sell t-shirts, but I mean I have some other, I think, things that are unique products. I mean, I also am trying to sell those because I know that they sell. Like I've actually made, $6,000 or $7,000 worth of sales on those specific products when I did them originally as Kickstarter projects, and that's what they are. They're just leftover inventory I had from doing those Kickstarter projects. So they sold the first time, so I'd assume that, and that was when I had no following on YouTube. So now that I have millions of views, I would assume I could translate getting some of that to sales, but it's all a bit like awareness, which is why I think it'd be critical if I can get Google Merchant Center to not to disable my products, then people will know that I have products and they will buy them. All right, I think that works. Excellent. Once I get a job, first thing I'll do is buy some merch. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, the merch store, like the reason you start a business is to sell something. And right now, like the videos, I'm selling ad space basically. But like I could take sponsorships, but my thought process is like, there's lots of sponsorships that are like scams. But if I'm gonna, try to go the most sustainable business practice, theoretically, like if a sponsor pays me money, like if I say I get like $2,000 from a sponsor to pitch a product, that implies that the person who sponsors pays for that sponsorship is making more than $2,000 to benefit. Otherwise, what they're doing is not sustainable. So my thought process is, since I actually, want to build an actual business, if I use my own opportunities, like doing my own sponsorships, theoretically I should be able to capture any of that margin. I should be able to do even better, and I can also control the product, so I can make sure the product is not just a scam or something. And there's also tons of horror stories about people getting their channels hacked from sponsors or like fake sponsors and stuff. So that way I just don't have to deal with any of that. right, looks like that works. All right, I made some positive progress tonight. I've simplified and removed some of those one-off work items. I'll probably just make it so there's a generic class. I just cast an object every time. So every time something happens at a frame, then it'll get sent back to the model context. Pruth Viraj Wahal says, what kind of donation is this? Domination? I have a link in the description where I discuss more about my world domination plans. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. And we'll be back again tomorrow night to do even more refactoring for day 208. All right, have a good night.